Now, I'm not looking to stir the pot here. I've done that recently on Twitter with my Goldeneye opinions, but I thought it might be an idea to voice those opinions rather than being tied to a social media character limit, because there's only so much you can say with 150 letters. I do not understand why this game is so often considered to be one of the best FPS games of all time. In fact, not even just FPS games. A lot of people consider it an all-time greatest game in general. Like, the N64 was a big deal for me. It was the console that turned me into an actual gamer rather than just a kid who played games at the weekend or in the evenings. I was massively into Super Mario 64, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Banjo-Kazooie, etc. But when I played Goldeneye in 1997, I felt it was both bland and clunky, even back playing it during its quote-unquote prime. I wasn't amazed, I wasn't captivated. It was a terrible looking floating gun walking around empty, bland corridors, and that just didn't do it for me. Now, you know, a lot of people say that the horrific N64 controller did the game no favours, and while I do sort of agree, other games didn't seem to be hindered by it in the same way. I don't recall any of those same controller frustrations with the games that I mentioned just a moment ago, and when you consider that one of those games was developed by Rare, the same people who developed Goldeneye, it makes the controller excuse even less valid. A few years ago, I thought maybe I've been overly critical of Mr. Bond for all of these years, so I went back and I played Goldeneye both in its original form and also updated on the Nintendo Switch. I can confirm that it has indeed aged like milk. So many games of the N64 era have aged brilliantly and are still enjoyable experiences, notably other FPS games such as Perfect Dark, Doom 64, Quake, Turok. And I don't know if you notice a pattern emerging here, but once again, one of those titles I've just mentioned was developed by Rare. So what's the difference? Like, with the limited hardware of the mid to late 90s, you cannot tell me that Perfect Dark in 2000 was a massive technical leap with a significant jump in hardware from Goldeneye just 3 years earlier in 97. Whenever I see Goldeneye near the top of any top 10 lists or greatest games ever made lists, I'm just confused. Like, in my opinion, it wasn't even that good of an FPS by late 90s standards, so please don't think that I'm putting it up against the modern day behemoth shooters that push the physical boundaries of video game consoles and their hardware in 2024. For me, Goldeneye doesn't even hold up against the games released around it. In my mind, if a game is to be held up and hailed as one of the greatest games ever made, it has to stand the test of time. Goldeneye in 2024 is a genuinely painful experience, and don't get me wrong, some of the other games that I've mentioned, you know, they've aged not great, but they're still playable, they're still enjoyable. I can happily go back and play Banjo-Kazooie any day of the week and just have the greatest time. Die-hard fans of Goldeneye often cite the multiplayer as one of the reasons for its status as a god-tier game, but again, as someone who experienced the game at the time and experienced that mode with friends way back in the day, I just wasn't blown away. Like, sure, it was a big advancement, we'd not really seen it done before, but I still had more fun with friends playing Mario Kart, Mario Party, Super Smash Bros, and many, many more. The multiplayer in Goldeneye was not the single greatest thing to happen to video games, and we really need to stop acting like it was. Now, for those of you watching this who don't agree with me and absolutely love Goldeneye, more power to you. I'm glad you love it. I'm glad it holds special memories for you. I would never try and convince you that you are wrong and that you should hate the game just because I'm not a fan of it. We are all entitled to our own opinions. We don't have to agree. It would be boring if we all agreed on the same things all the time ever. Like, I am entitled to my opinion that Goldeneye is the most overrated Nintendo 64 game, and in fact probably one of the most overrated games to ever exist. Video games, just like basically all media, is subjective, and that's good. We are meant to have these discussions and these conversations, but Goldeneye, man, the fans of this game just seem to be a really special breed. Like, if you insult Goldeneye, it's like you've insulted a member of their family, and it's kind of unhinged. One of my good friends, a guy I speak to pretty much every single day, does not like God of War Ragnarok, which just so happens to be my number 2 favourite game of all time. And that's absolutely fine. I don't mind that he doesn't like it. I've got another really good friend who hates Fallout 3, another one of my favourite games ever. I don't take it personally. I don't argue with them. I don't fight with them. I respect their opinions. I respect the fact that they don't like something that I like, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't change my perceptions. It doesn't change my day-to-day life. I don't care. Enjoy what you enjoy. Don't enjoy what you don't enjoy. Just chill out and let people have their own thoughts and feelings. So whether you agree with me or you don't agree with me, drop your thoughts down below in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, and peace out.